Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today we have another Megan 033 Fog of War puzzle. I had mentioned this one, I think, in the last one, which wasn't too many days ago, I would say. This is the latest and greatest that I've found, at least for this particular grouping of puzzles that they have done. Let me get my mic a little bit better here. Anyway, as always, this is going to be a great puzzle. We're going to have a lot of fun doing it, so let's get into our rule sets. So, well, first off, it's called Mirror in the Fog by Megan 033. And we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. Every row, every column, and every 3x3 box contains digits 1 through 9 once each. Then, as normal, there is one and only one gray palindrome line, which reads the same forwards and backwards. So you can see it sticking out in these spots. And this will make some pattern that goes around and come back again. But on this line, it is a palindrome, so it must be used as such. Then we've got digits in a cage do not repeat, and sum to the clue in the top left. So we have one showing these two digits must add up to 12. A black dot between cells indicates cell values with a 2-to-1 ratio. A white dot between cells indicates cells with consecutive values. Not all dots are given. These are Kropki pairs. These are consecutive digits because of the white dot, and these are in a 2-to-1 ratio. So one is double the other, one is half the other kind of thing. And then the last bit, as usual, is the greatest partially covered fog. So correctly placed digits will clear the fog around that cell. So if we were to figure out what this digit was here, all of this would clear away. And this is normal fog, not dynamic fog. So that said, we don't need to talk too much more about this thing because we all know how good these are going to be. So let's just get into it. And so, well, the first thing we see is actually these two digits have to be the same digit. And then these two digits have to be the same digit because we said there is one and only one gray palindrome line. So the digits on each end are going to be the same, and the digits as we move in and away are going to end up being the same. So what can we say about those? Well, we're going to have, and this is actually interesting because this is not the normal placement of the exposed bits of our puzzle that Megan 033 typically does, which is nice because this is a nice little mix-up here. The rule sets of this one must allow for this to work this way better. So anywho, little aside. But as usual, we're going to have to figure out how these things work together to be able to get into this thing. That tends to be how these work out. There's no obvious given thing, so it's going to have to work through some options to see what's what. So, that said, do we want to start looking at possibilities? There's a lot of possibilities, really, for the 12, but we can probably reduce those options. So let's just put them in here for a second. So we have 9, 3, 8, 4, and 7, 5. Now, because we know this digit and this digit are going to be the same, this is on a black Kropki. This cannot use a digit that can't go on a black Kropki, so it can't be 5, 7, or 9. That's the case. This can't be 3. Or actually, let's just go through them the other way. It's easier way to do that. This one here is either 9, it's either 8, or it's either 4. So those are the options. So it's either a 4-8 pair or it's a 3-9 pair. Now, we might be able to actually take that a little further, but let's just go with what we've been working on. This has to be 3, 4, 8. This has to be 4, 8, or 9. If this is a 3, 4, or, well, yeah, let's look at this one for a second, and then we'll come back to here. We might need to use all of these combined to be able to figure out what all this stuff is. And I think that's what's going to happen because these two are going to line up with each other as being on the same position along the palindrome, so they'll have to be the same digit. So let's just put all this information in, then we can conglomerate. That's not the right word. We can pick apart what can and cannot work. So if this is a 3, this would be a 6. If it was a 4, it could be a 2 or an 8. If it's an 8, it's a 4. Those are our options. Now, let's look at this one real quick. So the options here on our white Kropki are going to be 2, 4, 3, 5. This is a lot of options. 7 and 9. Now, which of those can we pick out? This can't ever be a 2 because, again, these two are going to be the same digit. These are on the end, these are next in, and these are the next ones in. So we're thinking about how this interacts here. If this was a 2, it would never work here. So no 2. The 3 could work with the 2 or the 4. The 4 cannot ever work here. The 5 can, the 7 can, and the 9 can. That means this cannot be a 3, because what is it going to be adjacent to? Nothing, so these are not 3. My mouse is acting weird. You can't see it because it's behind my big old noggin, but those are not 3s, which means this is not 9. So this is a 4-8 pair, which means this cannot be 4 or 8, i.e. it is 2. And this is 4, and this is 8. And now we can get into this. That was a pretty good in here. So this is 8, this is 4, this cannot be 7 or 9. We don't quite know if this is 3 or 5 yet. Now, we have unlocked more things to look at. So, this 3 or 5 we know goes down here, but it can't be a 5 to be consecutive with a 2, so we get 2 3s. That opens things even further. So, where do we want to look next? Are these cages of any use just yet? Or do we want to start looking at what these other Kropki dots can be? Or these Kropki dots? Now we're going to have to try to keep tabs on where our palindrome line goes so that we can say that these are the same. And I'll do this in some of the other palindrome ones too. It's a very long line. If you put a marker on 2 of them that are the same, then you can use that as a visual clue to say, these 2 clearly are the next ones in line. That way you don't have to color everything and you get this big old soupy mess of color. Anyway, that's just a personal way of looking at it. Anyway, we have to think about how this all works together, because we don't know where this palindrome goes from here. So we can't necessarily say where this is on this line, because this thing could go off here somewhere and then cut back and come back in. We just don't know that. The 8 clue, is that useful? Because again, we don't know where this is along here, going from this direction. I mean, this thing could do a huge old turn. Well, I guess it can't do that, but you get the idea. It could go a lot of places. The 8, is there enough here to really work with? I guess there is, because we can look at these as options, but we know these are not 2 or 3. Therefore, this is not 5 or 6, but that's kind of blah, isn't it? The other thing we could start thinking about is Sudoku. Even though we don't have anything cleared here, it might start picking up options as to what can be what here, which may then reflect back. But I'm going to hold on that for just a second. Let's start thinking elsewhere. What can this be? Well, we know it can't have 1, 2, 3, or 4 on it, and it can't have 8 or 9 on it. So it has to be from 5, 6, or 7, which means there has to be a 6 on it. Is that really helpful? Not necessarily. Because again, well, no, we do know that this digit and this digit must be the same digit. But we don't really have any other digits that are going to exclude these. We've got the same digits essentially throughout here at the moment. So I'll just put this in as 5, 6, or 7. Let's think on other ways that we can try to determine what's what. Because we have 2 more white Kropki dots in this region, and we're kind of limited to what can go into them. So we may end up having, because we can't have okay, that's where we want to look at. We can't ever have a 9 on either one of these, because we'd have to have an 8 go with it. We've just proven this has to be the same as whatever this is. Therefore, it doesn't have a 9. So these are both 9s. And we can move our coloring as we want once it gets kind of, so now we do know that this thing goes off this way. That's something at least. And we know there's a 5 down here somewhere. Now this 5 is going to either be a 2, 3, or a 4, 1. can't necessarily make that determination yet. It would be nice to know that this, if this was a 2-3, because that would force this to be a 1-7, but we're not there yet, so okay. These two digits have to be the same, but let's continue in here, because I was going down, so I wasn't expecting the 9 to necessarily be given, but I think one of these is going to have to be a 1-2, and the other one's going to have to be from the 5-6-7 as well. And if one of them is from the 5-6-7, it must have a 6 on it. So this can't have a 6, which means these are not 6s, and this is a 6. Now that's not going to show us anything because we already have all this cleared. But it's something. So we know one of them is 1-2, and we know the other one has a 6 on it, and this one can't be that one. So this is the one that has the 6 on it. And these are the 1-2s. What are these now? Because we've really reduced what this can be quite a bit. So we can get an idea now of what the 16 cage is getting up to. So we have to have a 1 in it. That's good. Oh, and we can't have a 9. So that's the key component here. Okay. So we have to have a 1 up here just because there's nothing left in the region for it. And we cannot have a 9 in any of these. So if we have a 1, we've got 15 left over, and if we can't use a 9 to get, there's only one way to do it. It's 1-8-7, which means this is 8. This is the 1-7 pair, and this is 5. So let's put that in. This is not a 7. This is not a 5. Okay. Now we have more info, and we can start pumping stuff in, I think. Because we know this 5 matches with this 5. We know this is a 1 or a 7. And we've got a 1-2 pair, so these are 7s. This forces this to be the 1. These are 8s, and they match. That's an 8. Now we can see how this thing is starting to go through our fog here. So this, and I'm going to move our coloring so that we can have a new focus point. These are the same digits. These are the same digits. We got a 1 here, so these have to be the 2s. Wait, what did I just do? Did I mess? Oh, sorry. This, I'm being stupid and slow. This one is the same as this one. These have to be 1s. That's correct. These have to be 2s. Apologies on that one. That was a stupid little mistake. This can't be 1, so this can't be 7. This can't be 1, so this can't be 7. So this is either a 6-2 or a 5-3. And at the moment, well, we can also look here at this 5. We know this 5 can only be 2 digits, so it has to be our 1-4 pair. Does that give us anything further? I mean, we can probably start to make some determinations about what these can be. Because they can't be 1, they can't be 2, they can't be 3, 4. They can be 5 and 6 or 7, but they can't be 8 or 9. And those two are the same ones. Now, this one is the same as this one. Yes, I'm actually correct that time. So that's either 5 or 6. Whatever this is going to be the same as this. And I'll put a secondary mark there so I don't mess up again. What else do we have? We can probably finish off a lot of this stuff. Or not finish it off, but at least get close to what has to go in here. We have to have 4 and 8 here. Now, we don't know where the center point of our thermo is yet, because we have too much out here, so we can't pick out where these are going to start working back onto the palindrome, sorry. Anywho, so we're going to have to look elsewhere. What about this 11 clue? Because it actually is reduced a little bit now, because it can't be a 9-2 because of this 9-2 here. It can't be 8-3. So it's either 7-4 or 6-5. This can't be 4, so this can't be 7. It can't be 6-5 because of this 5-6 here. That's the clue. So this is a 4-7. So let's put that in. does that do for us? Again, we don't know where this thing goes. It could cut in this way, it could cut this way, we don't know. This will be important because this digit here will have some consequences depending on what all this stuff is. Oh, this 5 actually is finishing the 6 and the 7, so let's get that done. And then we can start looking at these digits. Again, we still don't quite know where our center point is. But let's put in our options. 2, 5, 9, and this has to be 1, 3, 6. They're just there for now until we find out further, which we probably just need to clear out this little bit of area, and we can probably figure out where we're going with it. Okay, what about these 3? Is there anything here of help to us? It appears to be well, yes, this is 8. Okay, that did work, and that does clear up some space. These 2 digits we now know are 3 and 9. Let's put those in. Okay, so we know a little bit more now. We know this and this are going to be the same digit. Let's get rid of this green color for the moment. I don't think we need it anymore. So if these are the same digit, what does that say? It can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Excuse me, because 1, 2, and 3 see this guy. 4 here, or this 4 here sees this one. 5, 6, 7, and 8 see this one. So these are actually both 9s. Good. Now we can determine our center point of this thing, and we might as well try to do that. So let's kind of count down. These are combined. These are the same. These are the same. These are the same. These are the same. So this is our center point. I'm going to put a circle there just for clarity. Again, it makes it a little bit easier just to see what's going on. If that's the center point, we can then start to look back on these guys. This is a 4 or an 8. This is a 4 or an 8, and we have an 8. So there we go. So these are 4s. These are 8s. And let's just kind of finish our markings, I guess, and then we'll come back to this other info we've discerned here. This is 1, 3, or 6. It can't be 6, so let's get rid of the 6 option. This one here goes with U, so it's 2, 5, or 9. It's not 2, so it's 5 or 9. This is not 2. And then we don't have anything yet on the rest of these guys, at least not written down, which we'll get to eventually, I'm sure. So we now have a black Kropki dot poking its head out. There's not much there we can use at the moment, I don't think. So this might be something we need to come back to. Only thing we know is this can't be a 4-8 pair. But it seems like it can be anything else. Okay. So let's start thinking about what these guys can be. 1 is possible. 2, 3, and 4 are not. 5 seems possible. So does 6, 7 is not, 8 is not, and 9 is not. So these are 1, 5s, and 6s. What about you guys? Well, let's do it this way, because there's a lot more going on the column than there is just going back and forth here at the moment. So we need 1, 2, and 3. This can't be a 1, so this is either 2 or 3. This is not a 1. And the last digit that we can put anything to are these guys. This can't be 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be 5. Could be 6. Can't be 7. Can't be 8. Can't be 9. By multitudes of different things looking at them. So we get a 5, 6 pair here. And here. No, we don't quite have anything there left. Okay, so what about these guys? We need to be able to put a 7 in here. And the other digit is whatever's left over from the 2 or the 3. Oh, which actually, because, yeah, that's correct. So this would be the 2 or the 3. If we look at it in terms of Sudoku, where can the 2-3 pair go? Here. So this one is 7. And we can come back here for a second. We know we have to have 4, 5, and 6. This can't be 4, so this is 4. This is 5 or 6. Good. This becomes 5, 6, or 7. That just kind of propagates some of the other stuff we already know. Okay. What about in here? We need to get an 8 somewhere, so it has to go here. This is 1, 2, or 3, and it can't be 1 or 2, so it's 3, which means this is 2, which lines up with this. This is 1. This is 3, which lines up with this. That clears something, so that's good. No 3 there. And the 9 here sees this 5, so these are the 5s. These are, I swear my mouse is revolting against me. No 5s there. This now cannot be 5. Is that 1 or a 6 looking at it? They have to be 1s because the only thing left in this column is a 1. Yes, that's accurate. This has to be 6, which means this is 6, this is 7, this is 5, and we kind of get through most of this. This is 5, so this is 3. This is our 6. This has to be the 5, and this has to be the 7. That 3 gives us our 2. And we just need to work out the rest of the stuff now. What are these guys? We need 6 and 9. Neither one can be solved at the moment. We can start looking up here, maybe, and work off of this Kropki dot. We've got 4, 7, and 8. Yes, this is an 8. These are not 8s. This has to be 7 or 9, and it can't be 7, so it's 9. That's going to give us our 2 and our 9. That's going to give us our 3 and our 9. And we get our little snowflake in the corner. These two have to be from 2 and 6. And then these two have to be from what? 3 and something. 3 and 5. Okay, those are not finalized. So we're going to have to get down into some of this other stuff here. Now, let's look at what these kind of things can be, because we can probably use one of these Kropkis to sort all that out. We need to have a 1, a 4, and a 7 in this row. This can't be 4, this can't be 7. So this is either 1 or 4, which means this is either, well, it just has to be a 2. Because the 4, if it's a 4, it can't go with 8, so it has to go with 2. If it's a 1, it has to go with a 2. So that's 2. It's going to give us 6, 2, 1, and 6. And then 4, and then 1, 4, 7, and that 4 gives us 7 and 4. There we go. And these two digits now must be from 6 and 9. Again, we don't have anything there, but we have a X-wing, but it doesn't help us any. This can't be the 9, so it does help us. This is 6. This is 9. 6, 9. This has to either be 5 or 7. It can't be 7, so it's 5. And this is a 3, so we're getting a little snowflake down here. Yes, we do. And then we have this as a 1 and 5 and 3. There we go. Solved the puzzle. Congratulations. So that was another great one from Agano33. They're always good. There's no way around it. They're just good puzzles. They're always not easy necessarily, but they always flow very well. They're not too much of a strain. They're wonderful when you've had a bad day. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this one. I, of course, did, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.